Hello children, today we'll continue with D part of chapter 4, Total Internal Reflection. Total Internal Reflection. So in the previous video, I explained you about the phenomena of total internal reflection. Yeah. So we'll just have a quick recap of it. So whenever light travels from denser to rarer, remember, for total internal reflection, the first condition is light should travel from denser to rarer. So if suppose this is the incident ray, and here I draw a normal, and the ray bends away from the normal. So the ray will go like this. Okay. Now if so this was the angle of incidence here. If I increase the angle of incidence, okay, if I increase the angle of incidence, or if I shift this ray like this, then this ray will also shift, okay, it will be, the angle of refraction will be increasing, so this ray will be shifting, and there will be a point when angle of incidence, when the angle of incidence becomes equal to a particular angle called critical angle, then the refracted ray will go like this. That is, it will be refracted through 90 degree. Okay. Whenever the ray is incident at a specific angle called critical angle, then the ray will be deviated or refracted through 90 degree. Then if the angle further increases, that is I greater than IC, okay, now this angle is I greater than IC. So in such a case what will happen? The ray will not be refracted, but it will be reflected back into the same medium. Okay. When the angle of incidence becomes greater than critical angle, the ray will be reflected back into the same medium. Suppose you take this A, okay. So when the angle of incidence is less than critical angle, it was just undergoing ordinary refraction. B, when the ray was incident at an angle equal to critical angle, then the ray got refracted through, or the angle of refraction was 90 degree, or it will go along the surface of separation. And then the third case, when the angle of incidence becomes greater than critical angle, then the ray will undergo a total internal reflection. Okay. So in the third case, now in all these examples, in all the applications that we are going to see, we'll be focusing only on the third case. Because this is of important significance. This has lots of important significance in practical life. Okay, so we are going to see them now. So I should be greater than IC, then it will be at the same angle, whatever was the angle here, at the same angle it will be reflected back. So now basically what is happening, this is serving as a reflecting surface. This surface, though it is just a glass, it can be a glass, it's not a mirror, but at this particular case it behaves like a mirror. We also saw the comparison of reflection by this and the reflection caused by a mirror. I hope you are clear with the concept of total internal reflection. Now turn to page number 95 in your book. In page 95 we have total internal reflection in a prism. So we are going to see three types of prisms. Okay, one is 45, 45, 90. This is a right angle isosceles prism. Okay, 45, 45, 90 is the right angled isosceles prism, and then the second one will be equilateral prism, 60, 60, 60. Then we have the third case where it will be 30, 60, 90. Okay, let's go one by one. Now let's do the first case, right angle isosceles prism. Okay, so two angles of 45, one angle is 90. So this is 90, this is 45, and this is also 45. Now this particular prism has a name called, a special name called total reflecting prism. Okay, total reflecting prism. I'll tell you why it is named like that. Okay, so suppose these two sides will be equal, right? It's isosceles, so these two sides will be equal. Suppose if an incident ray is falling on this surface, or let's take from here, incident ray is falling like this at 90 degree, normal incidence. Okay, now this ray, because it is normal incidence, it won't be deviated, so it will go hit here. Okay, now at this point I have to draw a normal, and then okay, so this will be the normal here. Now to decide the further course of action, how this ray will go. Now usually in a prism, if you remember, you will draw like this, ray will go like this, and then like this. Okay, it will go like this. But this is a special type of prism, and here the incident ray is hitting the surface at 90 degrees. So what will happen is, you have to calculate this angle to decide how this ray will go. Okay, now this is 45, this is 90. So what is this angle? This will also be 45 degree. This will also be 45, yeah. Sum of the angles of a triangle should be 180 degree. So 45 plus 90 is 135. 180 minus 135 is 45. Now if this is 45, this will also be 45. Do you agree with me? Why? Again, this is 90 degree. This is a normal. So this is 90. So if this is 45, this has to be 45. So at this point, angle of incidence is 45 degree. Now, if you remember, in the previous page, there was a table that gave us in page 94, we have a table that gave us the critical angle of various medium. From that, critical angle of glass is given as 42 degree. Critical angle of glass is 42 degree. Now, here the ray is incident at an angle greater than 42. Okay, I greater than IC, because for glass IC is 42 and here angle of incidence is 45. So I greater than IC. So it will fall under the third category, that is total internal reflection. Usually the ray goes refracted. In this case that will not happen, because the angle of incidence is greater than critical angle. The ray will be totally internally reflected into the same medium. Okay, it will be reflected back into the same medium at the same angle. That means this will also be 45 degree. Now if this is 45, now we have to calculate again the angle of incidence here to decide how it will go. Okay, for that I should consider this triangle. Now this is 45, this is also 45, again this is normal. So if this is 45, this has to be 45. Now 45 plus 45, 90. 180 minus 90 will be 90 degree. So this ray is also incident at 90 degree. So normal incidence. So the ray will go like this. Is it clear, children? So the ray that was going like this, if I take P, this is the way it comes out of the, this is how it will come out of this prism. Hope you have understood. Now, why it is called total reflecting prism? It's because anywhere you make the light incident, okay, here or here or here, the ray will be totally reflected. In all the cases, the ray will be undergoing total internal reflection. This is a special prism. In the sense, only this one, in only this prism, this happens. In other prisms, it doesn't happen. Now, in this, anywhere the ray hits from any surface, the ray will undergo, but it should hit normally, then the ray will undergo total internal reflection. That's why it's got the special name, total reflecting prism. Now, in this case, we should know the angle of deviation. Now, the ray that was going like this is now going like this. What is the angle of deviation? 90 degree. Okay, angle of deviation is 90 degree. So, this example can be called to deviate a ray through 90 degree. To deviate a ray through 90 degree, what I have to do? I have to take like this. Hope you have understood, children. Okay. So, usually in your book, they have taken two rays. You draw one ray properly with showing all these angles. Another ray, you need not show the angles. You can just show like this. Q, and this will be Q dash. Okay. So, angle of deviation is 90 degree. That is what you should remember. Now, we go to the second application. With the same prism itself, I can deviate a ray through 180 degree also. Okay. So, to deviate a ray through 180 degree. This also can be done with this prism. Let's see how that can be done. Okay. Now, one main difference is, in this case, the hypotenuse, you kept it here. If you have to deviate it through 180, you keep this prism like this. A, B and C. So, this is 90, this is 45 and this is 45. Is it clear, children? That's the first thing you should know. And then we are going to take incident ray from here. Okay, to deviate a ray through 180 degree, let's take, there is an object like this, PQ. Okay. Now let's see how the image will be formed. Let's take Q first. The ray that's going from here will hit normally. Therefore, the ray will go straight and hit here. Again, here I have to calculate the angle of incidence. The same procedure. 45, 90. So, this is 45. Therefore, this is 45 degree. Now, if this is 45, I is greater than critical angle. So, total internal reflection will take place. So, what will happen? This ray won't go out, but it will be reflected back into the same medium. It will go like this and hit here. Now, here again, I have to calculate the angle to decide whether it will go like this or this. Okay. Again, the same procedure. If I calculate, now this is 90, this is 45, this is, therefore this will be 45. See, this is 45 because angle of reflection equal to angle of incidence. If this is 45, this will also be 45. So, this will also be 45 and this will be 45. Again, angle of incidence is 45, which is greater than critical angle. So, total internal reflection will take place. So, the ray will not go here, but it will bend again and come here. Again, at this, you calculate the angle, this will come out to be 90 degree. So, the ray will go like this. So, the image of Q you are getting here as Q dash. Q dash. Okay, same way, let's now draw for P. I am not marking the angles, the same way. Here it will be normal incidence, so it will go straight, and here it will be 45, so total internal reflection, and so it will go here, and here again 45, total internal reflection, and it will come here. Now this is P dash. Okay. Now, if you see the object and image carefully, so in object the arrowhead is at P, in image the arrowhead is to the left, in the image the arrowhead is to the right. Now this is called 180 degree deviation. This kind of deviation is called 180 degree deviation. A ray has been deviated through 180 degree. I hope you are able to compare these two. To deviate a ray through 90 degree, I keep a prism like this, and the incident ray should come from one of the equal sides. Okay. Now in this case, if I have to deviate a ray through 180 degree, the incident ray should come from the hypotenuse. Okay, so here the ray was deviated through 90 degree, and here the ray is deviated through 180 degree. So these are the two applications of total internal reflection. Now take your book, children, turn to page 95. So this is what we were doing, total internal reflection through a right angled isosceles prism. Okay, so what is a total reflecting prism? A prism having an angle 90 degree between two refracting surfaces and the other two angles 45 degree is called total reflecting prism. Why is it called so? The light incident normally on any of its face suffers total internal reflection inside the prism. Okay, now it is used for three purposes actually, but the third one is not in your syllabus, so you can cut it. Okay, according to your syllabus, only two things are required: to deviate a ray through 90, to deviate a ray through 180. So to deviate a ray through 90, this is the diagram, and I want you to underline this. The incident beam gets deviated through 90 degree while emerging out of the prism. Okay, now here they have not marked the angles and all, everything properly. At least for one ray, I want you to mark. So the way I explained you on the board, I want all the angles to be marked at least for one ray. Okay, it's enough if you do for one ray. Okay, now where is it used? It is used in periscope. So if you remember, periscope will have mirrors. Instead of mirror, they use this particular prism in this position to get 100% reflection. Okay, now to deviate a ray through 180, so you have to take the incident ray from the hypotenuse. So, and this is the ray diagram you'll get. Again, for one of the rays, mark the angles clearly. Okay, 90, 45, 45 and all that. Then the beam thus gets deviated by 90 at each reflection, and total deviation is 180 degree. Underline this. Total deviation is 180 degree. And where is it used? Binocular and camera. Okay, so sometimes they can ask this also, like draw the case where the total reflecting prism is used in binoculars and cameras. So then you should know this is the case. So C part, you can cut it with a pencil. Okay, cut it with a pencil. Now we go to the next prism, that is equilateral prism. Okay, so first we saw about right angled isosceles prism. Now we are saying equilateral prism. So how total internal reflection will take place in a equilateral prism. Okay, in this also there are two cases. First let's see the case 1. So equilateral means all the three sides should be roughly equal. You need not measure it exactly, but please use your common sense and roughly it should be equal. Okay. Now A, B, C. Now let's take an incident ray from here, P, Q. Okay, let's take the incident ray from here and let's see how it is going to go. Now it is normal incidence. Okay, purposely we are allowing it to fall normally. So what will happen, the ray is not going to get deviated, it will go straight. Children, use scale and pencil. Okay, I am not using scale and pencil, but you please use it. That is, you will get proper diagrams. One question is definitely comes from this in board exam, so please understand this carefully. So it will go straight undeviated. Okay, that means this will also be 90 degree. Now here you draw a normal. Now we have to decide the path of this, whether it will go here or it will be reflected. For that I need to know the angle of incidence here. I need to know this angle. Now to calculate this angle, first I consider this triangle. So it's an equilateral triangle. So 60, 60 and 60. Right. So this angle is 60. This angle is 60, then this angle is 90, totally it is 150. Now 180 minus 150 will be 30 degrees. So this angle will be 30 degree. This angle will be 30 degree. Now if this is 30 degree, this will be 60 degree because this is 90. This is 90, this is a normal, so this is 90. So if this is 30, this will be 60. So angle of incidence is equal to 60 degree, which is greater than IC, because for glass IC is 42. Don't forget it. IC for glass is 42 degree. So the third case, it comes under the third case. So total internal reflection will take place at this point. So the ray won't go like that, but it will be reflected back into the same medium. It will be reflected back into the same medium at the same angle, 60 degree. This angle will also be 60 degree. Now if I do the calculation again, now this is 30, this is 60, therefore this will be 90. This will be 90. Now because it is 90, it's normal incidence, the ray will go straight. Is it clear, children? So the ray that was coming here, came here, totally internally reflected, and then it came out straight. Now if I take this as R and this as S. Okay. So this is how the diagram goes. As I told you, you should mark the angles everywhere possible. Okay. Now the next thing is angle of deviation. By how much angle has the incident ray deviated? See, the ray was coming like this. Without this prism, the ray would have gone straight like this. Yeah, it would have gone straight like this. Now because of the prism, the ray is now going like this. So what is the angle of deviation? This angle is the angle of deviation. Is it clear? Without the prism, the ray should have gone like this, but because of the prism, the ray is now going like this. So whatever is the angle between these two is called the angle of prism. Now this angle will be 60 degree. How? This will be 30 because this is 60, so this is 30, and this also will be 30 because this is alternate angles. So this is 30, so this will also be 30. So 30 plus 30, 60 degrees. So angle of deviation will be 60 degree. Is it clear, children? Please draw this diagram along with me. I hope you're doing it for all the diagrams. Is it clear? So case 1, the ray of light is deviated through 60 degree. And then case 2, this also deviated through 180 through 60 only, but there is a slight difference in the diagram. Now, here I took the incident ray near the angle of prism, somewhere closer to the side. Now, suppose if I take incident ray here, closer to the base. If I take here, I will get this kind of a diagram. But if I take here towards the base at the end of this, then you will get a totally different ray diagram. Let's try to draw that. So what will happen? Again, normal incidence. So the ray will go straight and hit here. Okay, there it was hitting in this surface. Now if it is incident here, it will hit here. So things might slightly change. Now this is 60, this is 90, so this will be 30. So this angle will be 60. So the angle of incidence here is 60 degree, I greater than IC. So total internal reflection will take place. So the ray will get reflected back into the same medium. It won't come out, it will go like this. It will go like this at the same angle, 60 degree. So here, this is how the ray will go. Is it clear, children? It will hit the surface, but still angle of incidence comes out to be 60. So total internal reflection, and it will go like this. Again, we have to calculate this angle here. So this is 30. If this is 60, this is 30. So 60 plus 30, 90. Therefore, this also is going to be 90 degree. So it is normal incidence and the ray will go straight like this. Okay. But in this case also, it will be deviated through 60 degrees. See, the ray should have gone like this. But because of the prism, it's going like this. And what is this angle? This angle is, this is 30. This will also be 30. So this will come out to be 60 degree. So here also angle of deviation 60 degree. Just that the diagram will be little different, children. Rest all are the same. Okay. So in your book you can mark it. So case 1, in here they have given in the same diagram case 1 and case 2. I want you to draw two separate diagrams. Case 1, I want you to draw this one separately, case 2 with the incident ray hitting here. Okay. So case 1 here, ray has turned through an angle 60 degree. Case 2 starts from here, ray incident at the lower half portion of the face AB gets internally, and this also turns through 60 degree to the turns through 60 degree to emerge perpendicular to the face AC. Okay, I hope you're clear with this. All these 4 ray diagrams which I drew, you should have drawn in your notebook. Plus I'll give you 1 or 2 homework from exercise also. Thank you so much.